We also need to make sure that our communication isn't just us talking. Involved is listening and paying attention to what someone else's message is. And we're not just thinking about what we're going to say next, but we actually are taking in their information and making decisions then on how we can help them. We are listening. In fact, one of the things that I've heard so often, and I say it to my own students as well, is telling is not teaching. Just because we told someone something doesn't mean that we've actually taught it. We have talked to them. We haven't actually talked. The way that we actually teach is by reaching in and finding out what is important to the world of the listener, whether that listener is going to be a student, a colleague that's in our profession, a parent, someone who's in the building visiting that day, the janitorial staff, the administrative staff, people in the community. We are listening to them. We're hoping we know that and find out about the things they care about so that we can relate to their world, and especially to our students, finding out what their world is about so that we can take that information and help them build on that foundation and then start educating them about things that we would like to share with them. I give you an example. I had a statistics professor, and I thought he was an amazing human, and I knew he was brilliant. I loved going to his classes, but I absolutely understood nothing he was talking about most of the time. I took copious notes, and I read the book like crazy, and I asked all my colleagues who knew what was going on, and I was able to pass the class with a decent grade. But it wasn't because of his teaching in the class. I did not communicate the way he did, and so I had trouble understanding what he was talking about. I still learned a lot, though, by doing my own education. We want to make sure that our students are learning it. We want them learning because of us, not in spite of us. We also have a responsibility, in my view, to learn about students' personal lives. Maybe we don't want to dig into them so deep when there's stuff that's not our business. Yet if we care about the things that they do, if we know they love sports, or if they love theater. I've had a young woman in my children's course who loved riding horses. Another one was an artistic student, loved to write poetry. All those kinds of things help us relate to their world more than just simply saying that you're going to learn music from me. As another example, if we ask a student, and I'll take a children's course because I work with children all the time, if I ask them to darken the tone, yet they're still struggling with matching pitch, they're not going to have a whole lot of background or foundation to build on that skill. So my responsibility is to help them learn how to match pitch correctly and to make sure that they're consistently singing the pitches correctly and they get comfortable with that. And then they are also learning and counting the rhythms at the same time. Eventually, we can work with different tone qualities, and they'll know the difference between a bright tone and a dark tone. But right now, they simply need to make a tone that actually matches the pitch that we're striving for. I also played clarinet as a young student, and I had great teachers, and they helped me learn a lot. If a student is still mastering getting the sound to come out of their clarinet, though, and they're squeaking all the time, they're probably not going to want us to work on articulation and play in the style of Bach because it's not part of their world yet. I want to thank you for taking this time out and listening to my perspective on how you can have a new way of teaching by communicating more effectively. And I hope I get to see you on the next video. Thank you.